I am asked a question, perhaps the oldest question, and it is always delivered with a sense of desperate urgency. Kindly give a straight reply. The person asks, does God exist or not? Yes or no? If yes, how best to realize Him in this life? It's a lovely question, isn't it? It's so raw, so human, because it exposes our profound impatience with uncertainty. We want a straight reply, a yes or a no, because we believe a definite answer will finally settle the turmoil in our hearts. We imagine that knowing is a destination, a place where we can finally rest free from doubt. Humanity, throughout its recorded history, from the ancient Sumerians struggling with the floods, to the philosophizing Greeks, to our own complex modern age, has carried this idea, this projection, this deep inquiry into God. I am not at all sure whether the most ancient texts, like the early Upanishads, even mention God in the way we now conceive of Him, or if this personal intervening deity is a much later invention born of a different kind of need. So we must investigate this together. And when I invite you to investigate, I am not attacking God. I am not denying God. We are, as two human beings, looking deeply into the structure of our own consciousness to see whether there is such a thing as God or if it is something else entirely. Who invented God? Did God, this entity you describe as omnipotent, omniscient, eternal, merciful, just, and all goodness, create us? This is the first proposition. Well, if that is true, if this source of all goodness created us, then we must be fashioned in His image. We must be a part of Him. That would mean that you and I, in our essence, are also omniscient, generous, loving, just, and eternal. But are we? I ask you to look at your life, not your idealized theory of your life, but your actual daily life. Are you a being of boundless compassion? Are you free from fear, from anxiety, from jealousy, from the tribalistic urge to protect your group against another? The fact is, we are not. We are confused. We are in conflict. We are often small and petty and frightened. So we have a tremendous contradiction. If God made you this perfect, all-loving being, why are you like this? He must be an extraordinary and rather strange entity, because He seems to want you to lead, or at least to endure, a terrible life of struggle, pain, and confusion. If you were truly made in the image of perfection, you would be an extraordinary human being, wouldn't you? You would be beautiful in the deepest sense, full of joy, overflowing with a delight that has no cause. But we are not. So, this first proposition, that a perfect God created this deeply imperfect, suffering human consciousness, seems to have a serious flaw. This leaves us with the other, far more challenging possibility, that you have created God, that we, humanity, have invented God. Let's look at this closely without fear. In India alone, I am told there are over 300,000 gods and more, because every village, every family, almost every person has their own God, their own image, their own preferred savior. We have created them, haven't we? You seem so uncertain when I ask this, so frightened. And why? Because if you admit, really admit, I have created God, then you are left terribly alone. You are scared stiff because you must then confront the reason you created him. And the reason is your fear. You created that image out of your fear, out of your fear of death, your fear of loneliness, your fear of living a life that is insignificant and meaningless. Out of your fear, you demanded security. You craved safety. You wanted to feel that there is somebody looking after you, a great parent in the sky who will catch you if you fall. And so, thought, the very mechanism of your mind, obliged. Thought, experiencing this profound psychological fear, projected an opposite to that fear. The opposite of fear is security. The opposite of loneliness is a constant companion. The opposite of insignificance is an eternal purpose. Thought projected this image of ultimate security and called it God. And now see the incredible irony, the tragic trick the mind plays on itself. Thought, having created the image, then bows down before it. Thought worships the very image which thought itself has created. This is, in essence, to worship oneself, or rather, to worship one's own shadow, and to call that shadow God. We say, the better part of me is God, but it is still a projection of me. I wonder if you can see this mechanism in action. You see it in our modern world with blinding clarity. We live in a time of tremendous instability, facing global crises, economic uncertainty, and a terrifying sense of fragmentation. This instability only intensifies the psychological craving for a protector, for a simple answer, for an authority who will tell us that everything will be all right. Thought also creates our local gods, the image in the local temple, or the grand god in Rome, or the one at Tirupati, a famous pilgrimage site in India. You have created them. And what do? You go to Tirupati and you put all your money in the bag. You offer gold, jewels, and cash. But I ask you, do you think God, if such an ultimate reality exists, wants your money? Do you think the timeless, the immeasurable, the uncreated has any interest in your currency? Look at what you are doing. You have nothing to offer this projection but money, garlands, prostrations, and rituals. You have nothing else to offer. Have you realized the tragedy of this, sirs? You offer these things because you have not offered your attention. You have not offered your inquiry. You have not offered the one thing that has value, a life that has freed itself from the very fear that created the image. If you loved, not God, because that is an abstraction. It's very easy to love an idea that makes no demands on you, but if you truly loved, if you loved your husband, your wife, your child, the stranger, the earth itself, with your whole being, then that very quality of love, that very compassion is the sacred, that is the holy. You wouldn't need to go outside to look for God because you would be living in the very essence of it. And so the questioner wants to know, if I believe in God, I do not, because God, as you use the word, as the image created by thought, as the great security blanket, as the ultimate authority, is not real. It is a fabrication of a mind that is frightened. But this does not mean there is nothing. There is such a thing as eternity, which is a state entirely outside of time, a state that thought cannot touch or conceive of. But to come upon that, to realize that, you must have a mind and a heart that are completely free from all the burdens of life. You must be free from your vanity, your arrogance, your profound selfishness, and above all, your fear. And that is where the real work lies. But we don't want to do that work. Instead, we say, I am not capable of it. Please, just tell me what to do. Give me a system. Give me a belief. And so you are back in the cycle, trapped, waiting for somebody to tell you what to do. Sirs, you are in a jungle. We are all in a jungle of our own making, and you have to walk through it by yourself. For that, you need vitality, vigor, and immense strength, not a belief in God. Belief has no place where truth is concerned. And at this point, when I question the very foundation of your psychological security, you naturally get excited, perhaps even angry. The belief in God is questioned, so you immediately ask, then what is Atman, sir? You bring up this ancient concept, this word that so many, like the theosophist Annie Besant, have talked about. What about Atman? You ask, and I see you are all getting excited, because now I am not just questioning the God in the sky, I am questioning the God inside of you. Your belief is being attacked, and instead of meeting the challenge, instead of investigating it with me, your immediate response is to resist, to defend. So let's look at this belief you hold so dearly. What is this Atman you speak of? You say it is the conscience inside each of us, or perhaps you call it the soul. Which soul? The word itself is so loaded. You believe, don't you, that there is something inside you, deep within your conscience or your mind, which is permanent, a fragment of the divine, the light of God, something nameless, eternal, and not of this worldly, messy, transient life. You believe there is a super Atman, a higher self, which is the real you, while the daily you, the one who is anxious and jealous and confused, is just a temporary illusion. You hold this as your most sacred treasure, don't you? But I ask you, if you believe in this, what value has it? What actual practical value does this belief have in your daily life? You may suppose that you have this eternal soul, this Atman, but what part does it actually play? You are still miserable, aren't you? You are still confused, lonely, anxious, and often in deep agony. So, what is the point of your having a belief in Atman? Does it stop your conflict? Does it end your fear? Or is it merely a comfort, an idea that allows you to tolerate your suffering, believing that one day this higher self will take over? Or that this suffering doesn't really matter because it's not happening to the real you? If I am free from all that, from fear, anxiety, loneliness, misery, completely free, then I shall find out if there is something permanent, if there is a state beyond time. But to suppose I am eternal, while living in daily conflict and confusion, becomes so childish. It is an escape, a fantasy. And then, when this inner comfort is questioned, you immediately turn to outer comforts, the authorities. What about so many great people? You ask, what about Ramana Maharshi? What about Ramakrishna? You name these great sages and saints of India, men who lived simple lives and, as you believe, attained something. But I ask you, would you forget all these people? Can you, for one moment, put aside Ramana Maharshi, Ramakrishna, and every other guru, saint, and savior? What value has their life to you? You have your life to live, not their life. We are so eager to live by the example of another, to follow their path, because we are too lazy or too frightened to find our own. And when these people say they have attained something, whatever it may be, how do you know? You don't know. You are just believing the words, the stories, the traditions. This is the very essence of the followers' mentality which has crippled humanity. And then you turn to me and say, but you have also said there's some timeless eternity. Ah, I have said it, sir. But don't believe it. I know that seems unfair, but please just listen. Truth is something you cannot experience through the words of another. It cannot be told to you, because the word is not the thing. My describing eternity is not eternity. It is just a word, a sound, a concept. The word tree is not the living, breathing tree. But we are so easily satisfied with the word, with the description, with the concept. If you love somebody with your heart, with your mind, with everything that you have, and you try to tell me of that love, I may accept your words, but I do not have the flower, I do not have the perfume, I do not have the quality of that love. I only have the description, the empty shell. This is why you have leaders, religious leaders and political leaders. I don't know why you have leaders at all. In this country and all over the world, you have one guru after another, one system after another, one political ideology after another, all promising to lead you to peace, to God, to a perfect society. And why do you follow? Have you ever asked yourself, why do I need someone to tell me how to live, how to think, what to believe? It is because you are afraid to be responsible. You are afraid to stand alone. If once you realize, truly realize in your heart, not just intellectually as an idea, that you are entirely responsible for yourself, a new energy would be born. If you saw that you are in a jungle, literally in a jungle of your own suffering, your own confusion, your own social and psychological conditioning, and that you have to make your own way out, then you would see that there is nobody to lead you, no guru, no book, no savior. In that moment, you would forget all this, the examples, the books, the authorities, everything, because you would have the vitality, the strength, and the passion to walk through it. But the moment you depend on leaders, you become weak, you become a second-hand human being. If once you realize this in your bones, then you are a true human being, free to walk straight, to find out for yourself. But we don't want that kind of freedom, that kind of responsibility. Sir, it's so simple when you think of it all. Thank you for watching. If this inquiry resonated with you, please consider liking this video and subscribing to the channel for more reflections on the nature of our minds.